Hello again, everyone, and welcome to Silver Bullion Television, SBTV, the Christmas edition. And today we have with us Vincent.
Hi everybody, glad to be on the show.
Vincent does quite a bit of work for SBTV. He does the bookings, the questions, and he does the research. And with all of those things, Vincent, he does quite a lot. So Vincent, thank you for being on the show today.
Oh, you're welcome. Patrick, you have done a great job as the host of SBTV this year as well. And Patrick also does the video editing and all the graphics that you see on our videos, those are done by Patrick. So well done.
Oh, thank you also, Vincent. And that's SBTV. Vincent, myself, and for today, we have a third guy.
Hello everyone, I'm Aaron and happy to be here today on the show. And we would like to wish everybody
Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year! Yay!
Aaron, thanks for helping us out today, but we need you back behind the cameras.
Well, Patrick, what a year we have had in 2018. In the middle of the year, we saw the onset of trade wars between the US and China and some of the other countries. And it has depressed commodity prices. Tell us how it has affected gold and silver prices.
Well, with gold and silver, last year we had seen gold up some 12%, we've seen silver up some 7%. But in 2018, not as good. We've seen gold as low as 5%, we've seen silver as low as 20% back in June. And we're even seeing the gold-silver ratio at 85:1. And we haven't seen that since 1993.
Yes, there's no doubt a frustrating year for buyers of gold and silver. But the same frustration is also felt in cryptocurrencies. They had a big year in 2017, but the price of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies have gone substantially down this year. And Bitcoin has gone as low as $3,100.
Yeah, it's even affected the bonds where we had a yield curve inversion just a few weeks ago. In August, there was a 19 basis point difference between the 10-year and the 2-year note. Today, there's roughly a 15, 16 basis point difference. And the thing is, last year at this time, there was a much larger 40 basis point difference. So there are things that are going on, perhaps because of the trade war, but the yield is flattening somewhat.
Yes, and we know that 9 out of 10 recessions follow after the yield curve inverts, right? So it could be an exciting time next year. You know, a recession may happen.
Yeah. So enjoy this Christmas show because next year I might not be so happy.
And what a big year it has been for the SBTV channel. We started with only 99 subscribers, but right now we are slightly under 4,000 subscribers.
And at that time, a lot of our videos were quite long, and we realized it may have been painful for a lot of you, so we've shortened them to 40 minutes or less. And now our podcast can be found on iTunes and Spotify.
And the most popular interview we had was with Jim Rogers. It had about 120,000 views. That's huge for us. And the second most popular interview was the one with Dr. Dave Gender, which is right now slightly under 40,000 views.
And one of our first milestones was with Daniel Amaduri, where we actually hit 10,000, and at that time we were so ecstatic and appreciative. And the first interview was actually published on March 28th, which was one day after my birthday.
What were you doing then?
Working. I was actually doing an interview with Liar Gans at the time.
Ah, still working on your birthday, huh?
Of course, labor of love.
Besides having our interviews via Skype with overseas interviewees, we also did in-person interviews with our guests. And the first one we did was with Sean G from Digix Global at the Safe House.
Yeah, and looking to improve on what we've been doing so far, we started to add, during the Michael Pinto interview, we started to add those timestamps to the right where you can follow along with the topic and the time, all in an effort to help save you folks time.
Yes, and we are very glad that many viewers have indicated in the video comments that they like this new format.
Yeah, it's a lot more work, but again, it's a labor of love.
As many of you know, we are based in Singapore, but many of our guests, they are actually in the US and Europe, so there's a substantial time zone difference. And most of the time, Patrick is conducting the interviews late at night. How do you keep yourself awake?
Oh, that's easy. What I do is I show up at the office from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. That's when I go to sleep. And then I go home and that's when I'll go back to work during the interviews. But yeah, I think that's where you guys have noticed those little bags and black circles around the eyes. So I do apologize for that. That's the reason why, the time difference.
Were there any challenging moments that you recall?
Challenging moments. I'd have to say the guests themselves. They're really, really bright people and trying to keep up with their expertise just by simply trying to do research or trying to look at their various interviews that they had and notice their tendencies, what makes them happy, maybe what might be a bit uneasy for them. It's things you need to keep in mind, and it all happens really, really quick. I mean, in split seconds as you're talking to them. And then there's the research. You do have to put in some time researching your guests, and they're so diverse. One day you're talking about economics. Next interview you're talking about gold, silver. Next interview, crypto. Next interview you're talking about bond yield curves. That's probably the most challenging part, is just trying to stay up to speed with the guests because they are way smart.
So Patrick, were there any memorable interview moments?
Oh yeah, quite a few, but just to share some of them. I think Dave Janda, he surprised me when he had said Trump is there for a reason. He's to facilitate the bankruptcy. That took me back a bit. This is the clip where he had said that.
I think Donald Trump is the president of the United States for a reason. Donald Trump's background is in bankruptcy.
It is.
The United States is bankrupt. I think he's there for a reason. I think he's there to oversee the bankruptcy of the United States. And if you look at how Trump handles bankruptcies,
He does pretty good.
He does pretty good.
For myself, I like what Chris Blasey said, about we may not want higher gold prices. Watch this clip.
One thing I say to people is also be careful what you wish for, right? So gold is like financial insurance, and that means if gold's 5,000 an ounce or higher, what kind of world are we in? You need this insurance, gold, but I don't believe people should be too anxious to see $5,000, $10,000 gold, because everything else in their portfolio would probably be getting crushed. Not to mention probably some of the social and cultural issues and some of the societal issues that are going on that would be quite unpleasant.
Yeah, what Chris Blasey had to say, I think something we got to consider. What is it going to be like if gold should hit $5,000, $10,000 an ounce?
Yeah. And how was the experience interviewing Jim Rogers?
Jim Rogers, it's always great. The interesting thing with Jim, he's such a nice guy, and we see eye to eye. We're about the same height. Very patient, very kind, very reassuring, very comforting. And then he tells you the world basically is going to blow up. So that was pretty interesting, where he has all of these warnings for you, but he's such a nice guy that's warning you everything's going to fall apart. You're not sure if you should take it very seriously or take it lightly. And the strange thing is he has this grandfather comfort level, but he's telling you the world's gonna fall apart, and somehow you still feel fine with it. It's like, oh, but it's okay. Jim Rogers said it, and it's so nice that the world's falling apart. I'm not too worried, but you should be. You should be.
Yeah. How about unexpected or funny moments?
That would be F-bombs from Gerald Celente. You got to take a look at this.
Could you hold on a minute, please?
Yeah, sure.
Would you tell them to stop? Hold on, wait a minute, I'll be right back.
No problem. Take your time.
Hold on. People have no idea what's going on. There's Afghanistan, Pakistan, Uzbekistan, Kyrgyzstan, Kazakhstan. Stan means home of the Uzbeks, home of the Kyrgyzs. I say welcome, when you listen to the news, it's the news from Dumbkistan.
And then there was Daniel DiMartino Booth. Anytime you have guests with dogs, something interesting is going to happen. In her case, there was a mosquito guy coming there to fumigate the house, so we stopped the interview for her, and the rest you can see here.
Okay.
Oh, you got a guess?
I actually have somebody at my front door, but we'll keep going.
Well, if you need to get it, it's fine. No problem.
Can you pause the recording?
Sure. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. No worries.
I'll be back in 2 seconds.
No problem.
Don't go anywhere. Okay, that's good. I did not need the dogs to get fumigated by the mosquito man. I brought the dogs inside.
No, you don't want that to happen. It was a mosquito guy. He was there to fumigate the area outside their house where their dog was. So luckily we stopped the interview for her. Otherwise there may be one less dog in the world, I suppose. But and of course Mark Faber, his was probably the funniest of them all. We were talking, it was about 2-3 in the morning Thailand time. His dog started barking and this is what followed next.
It's incredible what the central banks have really done to the world. It's unbelievable. But it doesn't pay to cry at home about it.
Yeah,
Sorry, my dogs are barking.
No, I'll even listen to...
Maybe there's an intruder. Maybe there's a central banker knocking on the door.
After 40 interviews, were there any learning points?
Definitely. All of the guests, again, they're extremely diverse, and the best you can do is try and take a little bit of what each of them says. For instance, Michael Pentel, when he mentioned if the Fed should raise rates a few more times, expect an inversion. And sure enough, it happened. Although it wasn't the 2 and the 10-year, it still happened. And the point of it is the yield curve is flattening, which, as Vincent said earlier, usually brings on a recession, which is what also Daniel DiMartino Booth said. And also what Danielle had said is the Fed is going to have to go into cryptocurrencies. I think it's something we knew, but the reason she gave was for national security. You think the Fed will come out with some type of crypto coin?
I think they have to. It goes to national security. I don't think they have a choice, because if the Russians and the Chinese are already there, then we have to have one, or they would have a tool with which to take advantage of us, and that we can't have that.
So that was something I myself didn't see. I didn't see it as having to do with national security.
And many of you liked Patrick as the host, as you have mentioned in the comments. Well done, Patrick.
Thank you. But hey, I do appreciate those comments that you give. But again, I need you to know that it is a partnership. So if there are any good comments on the questions or doing research or things like that, it all falls back to Vincent. So I thank you for that.
Thank you, Patrick. I think never mind. A bit,
Gotta see, he's too humble.
And there was one funny comment about whether are we using green screen when we were filming for the Digix Global interview.
No, there's no green screen. That actually, it was really shot in the vault, and trust me, if there is any editing with a green screen or something like that, I'd look a whole lot thinner. So there's no green screen.
And some of you were asking if those were real silver bars at the back during the interviews with Gregersen. So yeah, those are real silver bars at our vault.
Yeah, absolutely, real silver bars. And in that interview, some of you might have noticed that in those cages, the silver bars were in plastic bags. Those bags are actually the tamper-evident bags that your silver would go into, that helps uniquely identify that those silver bars do indeed belong to you, and it prevents silver bullion from ever being able to put what you own back into inventory to be resold.
Yeah. And speaking about the vault, we also did a 4-part interview series with Silver Bullion CEO Gregor Gregersen.
Yeah.
So these 4 interviews are very special because most of the time the bullion storage industry can be rather opaque to retail customers. So in these interviews, Gregor actually mentioned, the details behind how bullion storage works. So I'll really encourage all of you to have a look at that.
And another thing, Vincent, do we get paid from our guests, or do we pay them?
Not for me. I have not received anything, nor have I paid anybody. Have you?
I haven't received anything either.
Yeah, so none of our guests are paid and they do not pay us, okay? Our only interest with the interviews is to provide good information to all of you.
And another question we have all the time, which our guests do try to answer, is gold an investment or is it an insurance?
Yeah, but is it?
I would say so. I absolutely believe it's an insurance. I may be a bit different in that I've never bought gold seeing it as an investment. I've solely bought gold, silver as an insurance, mainly because of all the things that our guests have been talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So besides gold and silver, we've also gotten into electric vehicle metals.
Yes, I mean, it's undeniable that electric vehicle revolution is upon us. It's a trend, a global trend that cannot be stopped.
Yeah.
And a key component in electric vehicles are the batteries, right?
Absolutely.
And crucial materials used for these batteries are lithium, cobalt, and nickel. And if we see higher demand for electric vehicles, we will likely see higher demand for batteries, and as a result, battery metals as well.
Yeah, and this is part of the reason why we also started the monthly market update. From our point of view, with what we see in our research, where governments are starting to phase out gas, diesel, petrol engines, starting to bring in electric vehicle cars, the way we see it, and a lot of people see it now, is the nickel and the cobalt, the two key metals that go into the batteries. They're a bit low right now, which may be a good entry point, but surely because of the demand and regulation, they do look like they have a very, very good upside coming ahead.
And in July, we visited the Tesla showroom in Las Vegas, and we rode in the Tesla Model X. It was really a very interesting experience to feel the power of the electric vehicle.
Yeah, we had our driver, the gentleman who was kind enough to give us a test drive. He floored it, and within 3 seconds, we went from 0 to 60, and then all of us were pinned back against the seats, and we didn't realize the power that the electric vehicles have today. The power, the torque, the distances. They're able to go quite a lot further than they were just a few years ago, and we're also seeing the infrastructure being built up as far as charging stations.
So if you're looking to invest in the electric vehicle revolution, you can consider buying physical cobalt and nickel with silver bullion.
Just to note, it is physical cobalt, it is physical nickel, and it is the correct nickel where it's class 1 nickel. And class 1 is the only type of nickel that can be used for electric vehicle batteries.
So you can buy with direct price exposure to both metals.
And just like the gold and silver that's stored in silver bullion, the nickel and cobalt, it is insured.
So we have also done other videos on the channel, which you may not be aware of. What are some of them?
Yeah, one of them was the bullion audit. What we intended to do was to bring you into the vault and let you see what happens with your bullion once it's stored in the vault.
And in this video, we are showing you an actual audit by external auditors, going through the gold and silver that is stored at our vault, the safe house.
Yeah, so the interesting thing is you may have saw that RFID gun. It's a proprietary software that Silver Bullion has made to help speed up through the inventory, which is to your benefit. Because inventories can be done a bit quicker, we can inventory more of the parcels that are in storage.
Another video that we did was the secured peer-to-peer loans, in which customers who store gold and silver with us in Singapore are able to use their bullion as collateral to obtain a loan.
Another thing with the peer-to-peer loans, they can be matched very quickly, and we've even had loans made as high as 300,000.
Yes.
Right. So all that, again, it happens once you store your bullion with us. You can collateralize assets you already own, and you don't have to sell your silver, gold, your bullion.
We put a link in the video description if you want to have a look at that video.
One question we get a lot is, you are a silver and gold, a bullion company. Why do we interview guests that want to speak about crypto? And we do get that quite a bit, and we do see gold guys may not like crypto, crypto guys may not like gold, so why do we bring them on?
Well, we see cryptocurrencies as an alternative asset that is complementary to gold and silver. You know, with gold and silver bullion, they are physical, so it can be difficult to transport, you know, your bars and coins. With cryptocurrencies, they are digital, and as such, they can be borderless, and they can be a useful transfer of wealth.
One of our guests, Frank Holmes, what he suggested to everyone was,
you've got to understand millennials and how they trust things differently, and they don't trust paper money, and they don't trust paper money in particular because they saw what took place in 2008. And many of these millennials played computer games and digital games, so they were rewarded in digital currencies. So they became early adopters to the digital world.
Even if you may not like cryptos, take the time to understand it. Yeah.
For 2019, do you have a wish list of new interviewees that you'd like to have?
Mike Maloney. This guy probably has the greatest influence on getting new people into the gold and silver industry. So Mike Maloney, we want to talk to you. Right behind him has to be James Rickards. Those two probably for sure at the top. Then we have Peter Schiff. I see some of you guys frowning, but Peter Schiff.
Yeah, we met Peter at Freedom Fest in July, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Peter is, he's gonna let you know what he's thinking. We're also hoping to get Rob Kirby, Nomi Prince, Catherine Austin Fitz. Why not? Ben Bernanke.
Good one. And also all prior guests to return.
Yeah, that's the most important one. We need you to come back.
And I would like to give special mention to our friends at Palisade Radio, who has been very gracious to distribute our videos on their social media channel. Do check out their channel. They do interviews on resource investments. So that could be very helpful for you.
Yeah, and also we need to thank our first few guests, particularly Steve St. Angelo. He came on the show, very first one. There was nothing for him to research about us. He took a chance, came on, and he got us on the right foot and on the right path. So Steve, we thank you for that. And following him was Lior Gantz, Jason Hamlin, and then we had Ronald Struffele and John Williams, and of course Craig Hemke III Ferguson.
Thank you guys. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks guys, we really do appreciate it.
And we are very grateful to have many of you leave encouraging comments on our videos. So we have picked 20 viewers to thank.
Yeah. So we'll start with Terry. Terry, you were the first commenter that we had from the Steve St. Angelo video, and you had some kind words to say, and we appreciate that. Thank you, Terry.
Matt from Silver Fortune.
Jeff Barber.
Adam Jacob.
James Allen Jr.
Terry Sacconi.
John Paul.
Joko 2K.
Curtin Sherry.
Philip Quinn.
Kirsten Strand.
John Bradshaw.
Deborah Glass.
Simply Human.
Woke News.
Main Man.
Shaka Zulu.
Bob Silver.
Charles Gaines.
Matthias von Guttenberg.
And those are just a few of the people that commented that we wanted to say thank you to. But we do thank each and every one of you that does watch SBTV and supports us and subscribes to us. And with that, we'd like to wish all of you a very Merry Christmas
and a Happy New Year.
Take care, everyone.
Bye-bye. Bye. Were there any memorable?
You feel natural yet?
Not yet. Damn it.
I don't feel natural yet.